BillyTDetroit Radio. News, sports, entertainment, and a little foolishness.
And we back. 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 And we back.
And we back, and we back, and we back,
and we back,
and we back, and we back. Yeah, now we're back. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man, Billy T, as we check in for another edition of BillyTDetroit Radio Podcast. This is show number 94, Rocky Road.
Yay!
Show number 94.
We're doing it.
We are doing it. Is your thing on over there?
It is. Thank goodness.
Okay. I can't quite hear you. My hearing, I don't know what's going on here. But we here. We're back for another Friday night. And it is September 28th. September's over.
Yes, it is.
Can you believe that? Yeah. And we have a couple of guests in the studio. First, your friend. You can introduce her.
Miss FeFe the Plug, my partner in crime.
Hey,
what up, hey, y'all.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And our special guest, Mr. Dr-Eddieconnor. Dr. Eddieconnor, welcome to the building, sir.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right,
brother.
Here he come with that voice.
All these beautiful ladies
smooth.
in here.
Mr. Smooth, Dr. Smooth over
Thank
here. Now, for those who don't know, Dr. Eddieconnor is an author. And I just met him last week. We were at a fundraiser together, and I said, dude, you got to come on my show. He's a powerful speaker. Mm-hmm. Now, I felt like that was like a motivational speech. Are you a motivational speaker? Is that your thing?
Yeah, I try to bring it all together. Mm-hmm. Social justice, motivational speaking, spirituality, education.
All of it. You bring it all together. Now, fun fact, I actually met his brother the week before I met him.
Oh, wow.
Right here in the studio. His brother was working with Mildred Gaddis. They doing a class, and they had to come in and do commercials. And so we got going. He said, yeah, man, Prince is my home. He was on The 4.
Wow.
Puffy's show.
Okay.
So and it's a video. Look it up. And he's on The 4. He comes out with swag, got the hair, the clothes. he comes out. He said, by the way, I'm Prince's cousin. And I said, you're Prince's little cousin, huh? And he did his thing, and him and Puffy had a stare down, and it went viral. It was crazy,
wow.
Man. Yeah.
I'm about to look
I think
Y'all
I've
seen
seen
that.
that.
Like the blonde
hair. I've
Yes.
seen that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so we got to talking. So when I got to the event, I had to introduce him, and I'm reading his bio, and it said, cousin to Prince. I said, hey, man, I just met a guy named Connor. His name is Elijah Connor. Right. And I said, is that your brother or cousin or nephew? What? He said, yes, my brother. I said, okay, he's your younger brother, obviously.
Younger brother, yeah.
Yeah, he was really nice young man.
Yeah.
And talented.
Absolutely.
Talented, great voice, man.
Yeah,
he
so
sings, I
that's
speak,
wonderful.
man. So,
there you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like being Prince's cousin? How well did you know him? Or did you get to know him?
Pretty well. So many stories that we can say, as a family, actually, just how he was as an individual. I mean, of course, the regal, the royalty, the extravagance,
Was he extravagant?
Very. With the dress, especially.
Oh, yeah, with his clothes.
With his clothes. But, I mean, he was just a regular down-to-earth person. Just a regular down-to-earth person. Of course, someone who cares about the community, but just so talented and wanted you to feel like, hey, you're just welcome wherever he is. Wow. Whether it was just him coming in an outfit and it just be full length past the knee as the suit jacket would be. And matter of fact, he's about 5'2", 5'3".
Oh, wow.
Maybe 5'5".
With or without heels.
Right. That's the thing, right? And so and just with my grandmother and and his father being brother and sister.
Okay, so your grandmother and his father.
Yeah,
brother and sister.
And,
okay, so you're like the second cousin. Your mother and him were first cousins. Did they grow up together at all?
Yeah, she when he was really starting out, he would send tickets and stuff like that. And she would be able to go. I remember talking to his sister, Tika, and she would tell me even Prince, when he first began, wouldn't even get signed. They wouldn't even sign on record labels. They thought he was a whole band. They thought it was a whole group.
And it was just him.
It was just him.
Wow.
He was playing all the instruments.
Yeah.
And so he just worked his way up through and through. And I wound up, of course, with his demise and his death. I wound up speaking at the homegoing celebration out in Minneapolis.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Yeah. So, a sad time, but it was a great time for everybody to get together. I mean, I was meeting family members I'd never met.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Bandmates, all type of stuff, and just the stories. I mean, funny story, when Prince was a kid, he would go around running after little girls and popping their bras.
Oh my God!
and the lady who got it popped, she was there. She said,
I was one.
She said, it was me.
I was the first bra he ever popped.
Oh my!
She
God.
was the little red Corvette. So,
Oh wow!
Wow, that is awesome.
yeah. So I mean,
That's
it was
funny.
so many stories shared there. I mean, he would go the church that actually I spoke at, where the memorial was at. He would just go in the back
And sit.
and nobody would bother him. He didn't have a mask on, anything, anything that of that nature. But he would just go and sit. Nobody would bother him. And I think it was just an Episcopalian church or something like that. But he would just he was someone who just really loved people in his community. And he said he lived in Minneapolis because the bad people don't like the cold.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, I know they're going to leave me alone.
They gonna leave me alone.
They can't stay for so long because that cold is going to get them. If you ain't ready for it, baby.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like that it kind of like Aretha.
Right.
Stayed in her home. She moved away for a minute, but came back and stayed in her hometown. It's just that love for your hometown, for your people, because you can't be comfortable. I mean, you can, but I would think it would be, hey, this is home. Sometimes it's a feeling of this is home, and you got to have home. You got to have a place where you're comfortable and safe, and So that was it, Minneapolis for Prince.
Absolutely, and the music that he did, and he knew they would break into the vault. He said. Well, actually,
After he died,
After he died, he said he recorded a lot of stuff. From what I'm hearing, that was better than Purple Rain and the stuff that came out.
Wow!
But he's got enough music to last to where he could release an album for the next 100 years.
Wow!
One every year for the next 100 years.
Well, don't wait that long, Prince. But
Bring it
start
on.
breaking out every month.
That's how much music is still left over.
Yeah.
And I know they just really released one recently. It was the piano one.
Yeah, the piano album. That was that like his last concert type thing or something like that.
To a certain degree,
some live stuff.
Some live stuff.
Yeah, and they said he even had some of the older stuff that he did on just an acoustic piano.
Right.
And but I think one of the things I heard was his last little tour he was doing. He was in Atlanta, and it was just him and the piano. And I think was going to do something at the mansion there.
Right, I believe he was,
with that same setting. So it's if you think about him and Michael dying so young, with still so much more to do.
Right.
But Prince, man, was an amazing cat. I remember when he first came out. You're right. He played all the instruments on the album.
Yeah.
And he was about 16 or 17 years old when they finally signed him. And it was from there on. It's like, who is this dude?
Right.
And he was so cool and mellow. And then came the Dirty Mind experience. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. What happened to the guy with the guitar sitting on the bed with the big afro just chilling?
Yeah.
So that's interesting, man. Yeah. So you hung out up there in Minneapolis when you were a kid? Did you? Because he's a bit older than you, so you had to be a young fella.
Yeah, and I really wasn't a Prince fan. I didn't really understand the music, the fascination, him being a celebrity in the family. Because to him, he was just a member of the family.
Did he come to the family cookouts and stuff?
From time to time. Not really, though.
What did he bring, man? Did he bring some ribs or some macaroni?
If anything, he would have brought some pancakes. Charlie Wilson wasn't lying. Was it Charlie Murphy? Charlie Murphy, right. He wasn't lying.
He liked them pancakes.
Yeah, and he had a little mean jump shot. He had a nice little jump shot. Short dude, but he had a little, had a little range on him.
That's all right. That's all right. So, Dr. Eddieconnor, our special guest today, and like I said, a motivational speaker. That speech you gave, man, at the event was awesome. I just like your delivery and how you just tie everything together. What does it take to do that? You hear guys, a lot of different guys, they do different deliveries and different things, and that energy. One is the energy, and two, just what you're saying. It just captivates the audience. Yeah. And you got them locked in,
Absolutely.
And we were over there at our table going,
Yeah, I did a speech. That speech was called "Walk It Like You Talk It."
Yeah,
and really, speaking, of course, bridging the gap for humanity and really getting people, because generally after what we say, more is said than what we do, and so to be able to share that, and then also just to be authentic, to be genuine. I think the best story that you can share is one from your own chapter, your own page. And a lot of times people want to be other people based upon they're trying to emulate somebody's style, this, that, and the other. I started off kind of doing that, but it didn't really hit home to people. Once I became comfortable being me and saying, hey, I got a gift that, the world can embrace and really people can be touched by. Talent to take you to the top, hard work will keep you there.
There it is.
So being able to stir up your gift, being able to hone your craft, research. Malcolm Gladwell in the book Outliers, he said it takes 10,000 hours to be great at whatever you do. You think about a dentist, you think about a doctor, you think about Beyonce, you think about LeBron, you think about any notable person. They've put in the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears to hone their craft, to be good at what they do. So once they get up there, it ain't hard work, really.
Right.
They practice so much. They put in the time to where now
it's the lifestyle,
they're able to do it.
So,
yeah. And so
how many hours is that again?
10,000 hours. That's about
How
5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years.
Wow.
I've been doing radio a couple of years. I should have that. I should be great by now, Rocky.
You are great.
You already there,
great.
brother.
You are
Remember, like
great.
I was joking with you, I say Billy D ain't got nothing on Billy T.
Right.
So
You are great.
I'm like, wait a minute. Now, when does the money come with that?
Right.
Gee whiz.
I mean, it takes a minute, and that's why it's
10,000
all about
hours.
chasing purpose.
Yeah.
You chase purpose, the paper will chase you. A lot of
Yeah.
times we chasing the paper, and we miss the purpose and the paper.
Right.
You know
That's
what I'm
deep.
saying?
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Well, you're also an author. You've written 4 or 6 books.
This is my 8th book this year.
Eight
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was an even number. So I was halfway there.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of books.
What are your books? What do they consist of? What are they about? Are they, self-help books or?
Primarily self-help, nonfiction, empowerment, inspirational type of work. And my first book was about my life. And I wrote an autobiography at 23. And it's kind of weird to do that. But when you went through what I went through, how could you not? Even though I never wanted to share my story, my mother said, hey, you got to do it. And I was a 15-year-old kid diagnosed with NHL. I thought it was the National Hockey League.
Not quite.
Not quite. I was having these chest pains and couldn't breathe by halftime watching a football game, and found out after I went to the hospital that it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which was stage 4 cancer.
Oh, wow.
At 15?
At 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So, to go through and grapple with that type of pain, literally being on my deathbed, people not thinking that I was going to make it, people who you think are praying for you, literally praying on you. Mm-hmm. My own father not visiting me one day in the hospital. All I had at the end of the day was my mother.
Right.
And I didn't even want to fight as hard as she fought for me. It was her love. It was her strength. It was her prayers is the reason why I can say what I say, do what I do, and become who I am right
awesome.
now. Because she fought for me when I didn't want to fight for myself.
Yeah.
And so God and a mama, a praying mama is a majority.
Love.
A mother's
else,
love,
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So to be able to go through that and not to look like what I've been through, and to believe that God could heal me. The first 3 letters in cancer is can.
Mm-hmm.
Had to change my perspective to look at the negative positively and just say, yo, I'm going to fight.
Right.
Against all odds.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
So more than a physical battle, it was a mental fight. And I said, hey, I got a story to tell, and somebody can be empowered and touched by what you go through. Grow through what you go through.
Exactly.
And wrote that story with literally $1 and a dream to my name in a dorm room at Eastern Michigan University.
Wow.
And now this is my 8th book. It's called Woman, and it went number 1 this year. Woman stands for wonderfully orchestrating magnanimous achievements naturally.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, there it is. I'm looking Miss FeFe, Rocky, you know what I'm saying?
Said that.
3 snaps of the neck roll. You do a hair flip, a high five, look at yourself, tell her, you go, girl.
That's right.
It's your bad self.
Okay.
It's I was just listening to you, and really it was resonating with me with some personal things, but about your story, it's like they say, and I know this is just so cliche, but it takes pressure to make a diamond. And I think any great person has to go through And it just, sometimes you be wondering, like, why do I go through this stuff? Like, what is this about? As she would say, that is my saying. What is this about? And the thing about it is you have to be able to go through the stress and the strenuous and the struggle, because it prepares you for who you are to be in the future.
I love it.
So thank you for sharing that. That was touching.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I mean, what I'm doing now, I'm the least likely. I was never class cutest, was never voted most likely to succeed. In many cases, least likely to succeed. The age of 17, my guidance counselor looks at me, and I'm in high school. My favorite two classes in school, the gym and lunch.
Mine too.
Right.
It sounds like my daughter.
You know what I'm saying? I love to chase the girls in gym and then sit down and eat with them at lunch.
There you go.
And she knew. She looked at my grades. She said, "Nah, you ain't going to college. Matter of fact, don't even think about community college. Pick up a trade." The same lady who told me I never go to college had to show up to my graduation from college, to where I earned a PhD, but for her, it's still for a player-hater degree.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
All right now.
People going to doubt you, but you can't let that stop you. And now I'm a professor at a college when I wasn't even supposed to be going to college.
To a college, right.
And so...
Look at that universe.
But
That's
how
look at
dare you
that.
say that to
Yeah.
a child? I could see you saying something like, "Hey, baby, you gotta, try harder, because I see you have potential. You're brilliant, and if you just get here, you can be this, that, and the third." You have to talk that into a person, even when you don't see it. But as an adult, you should know better than to speak down into a child and put that in their spirit. And I just thank God that you were able to fight against that. These adults that should just know better. It just really burns me up that they would tear a child down. I don't even understand.
Yeah. And a lot of times they think it's reverse psychology.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
You know
you're
what I'm
just
saying?
automatically
Yeah.
be
Right.
stronger.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the cats who said, "Yo, I'm going to be competitive. I'm going to just prove you wrong." But
Well,
everybody's
maybe it
not like
worked
that.
on you,
yeah,
but
everybody's not like that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
That damages a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It does.
You know?
And we as a culture, we just don't really, we not really taught to embrace our children and embrace one another, period. Just to speak life and speak positivity into them. We, we always like kind of find the fault in it. And I mean, I guess you could look back and just say that it's cultural or something, but it's a fact. Like, it's a fact that we, as a people, until you make the decision, like what you guys are saying to do better or whatever, then you just kind of like at a disadvantage. Like, you just, the people around you.
Well, for so long, that's what they used to tell us.
Yeah.
You can, you like Malcolm X even said that the woman sat there and told you better you can be a carpenter. He's like, no, I want to be a lawyer. You can't be a lawyer.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
But you can be a carpenter or maybe a mechanic.
Yeah.
Not
exactly.
that there's anything wrong with any of those
not.
Exactly.
jobs. They
Yeah.
make good
Right,
money.
right.
Yeah.
But it's like they want
But
to
your
hold
dream
you.
is your dream. Yeah.
Exactly. They want to hold you in a certain area when you really can excel like yourself into who knows the universe.
Absolutely right.
And what motivates you, Dr. Connor? What keeps you going?
Really, I would say the whole aspect of knowing about where I've come from. If you don't know who you are, people will tell you what you're not. And I really had to discover who I was in various places of adversity, and that adversity created an opportunity. Sometimes you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option.
Yes.
And I had to find,
Yes.
I had no other option but to be strong. My back
Absolutely.
was against the wall. I was literally, claustrophobic based upon my circumstance. And I had to say, all right, I got to find the power that I have inside of us. I think we're all stronger than we realize. We got power that we haven't used yet.
Yeah.
And sometimes the situation creates an opportunity for that revelation to take place.
Absolutely.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Now, when we start talking about young people and kids, and the Detroit school system is considered one of the worst in the country. I know there are others that are worse, because when I was in Vegas, they used to say that was the worst in the country.
Right.
But we know that we're going through some struggles right now in the Detroit school system. What can we do to, I look at the kids, I wonder if they're motivated. They look, and I don't know if it's just Detroit. It might be everywhere. These kids just don't seem to be interested in a lot of stuff.
That's because they eat hot Cheetos for breakfast.
It's hot Cheetos. Hot Cheetos is killing me.
Yeah, it's like,
I think it has something to do. I'm sorry if I.
No. Go ahead.
I think it
Rock
has
with
something
it.
to do with the times are changing and the way that kids are learning is changing. So you have to constantly curtail the curriculum for the era that you're in.
Okay.
absolutely.
1985 curriculum is not going to work for kids in
No.
2018.
Yeah.
No, that's-
You've got
no.
kids that my son just to put things in perspective, at 2 years old, he was beating Robotnik on Sonic. That's at 2. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea what she just said, Eddie.
Exactly.
What does that mean?
It's a little video game. Huh?
It's a video game. Robotnik was the boss.
Okay, you don't have to explain it.
Okay.
I'll never know.
Okay.
I get it.
So,
I was just like, oh, okay.
they have to find a way, like my kids do Khan Academy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
nice.
It helps them learn.
That's
They
serious.
have to find a way to reach these kids in the way that they learn.
On their
and
level.
every
That's true.
child doesn't learn the same. These classrooms overloaded with kids, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem in Detroit.
Yes.
Very big problem.
Make smaller classrooms. Get these kids in different classrooms. Okay, you learn this way. You go in this class. You learn that way. You go to this class. I mean, it's got to be done. It's not a one size fits all.
And but that's the thing now. And I was
Yeah.
watching 60 Minutes. There was a school system, and I forget what little small town it was in. And the guy was saying how they each kid, advances at their own level. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they've set it up to where if you're, like an advanced class or whatever, but it was all with the technology, using the computers and this, that, and the other, and they can advance and work on their project. While this kid over here is a little slow, I'll help him out and move while this one's moving on ahead. It was like they had it set up to where the kids were elevated, and all of them test scores and everything went up across the board.
Yeah.
Now, I can't explain exactly what,
that makes
obviously,
sense,
but
though.
the
Yeah,
way
it
they
makes
did
sense.
it was
Yeah.
like you were saying, they learn at different levels,
Yeah.
and they've mastered that technique.
What about we take out 12 years of school? Do we really need, think about kids that are homeschooled. Do they really need to K through 12? No, they don't. A lot of stuff is, if you have, even in college, it's a lot of fluff. And of course they need that fluff because it's money, right? But in public school, you're going to get the tax dollars or whatever, and people are going to continue to have children. Let's lessen the amount of years kids are in school. Let's make these years meaningful and get them out of school, because it's discouraging. I've got 12 years here. Then I got to turn around and go to college. And then you acquire debt. It's so much discouragement.
The debt is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
designed.
Yeah.
It's designed for that.
Yeah, the system is archaic, and I was sharing that yesterday at a speak at Pontiac Academy for Excellence to a group of parents and staff and some students that were there. And, when you think about the whole aspect of even with schooling, I used to be a teacher for 12 years. Some people would make a joke and say I was 12 years a slave. But but to be able to give students really, the building blocks of what they're going to actually use in the world, how to balance a checkbook. What is it?
Exactly.
How to eradicate debt. What is it like to actually? What does it adulting mean? How do you balance,
Yes. How to
your
fill out a
bills and
money
things of that
order.
nature? Right. What is
There's
it
so
like?
many adults that don't know how to do that. That is a shame. Like,
That's what takes so long at the drugstore.
How to address a letter?
No, seriously. I was like, I had that class in school. I don't understand why people. How can you not fill out a money order? It's simple. Or write out a check, or just a simple application. It's asking you a question.
Answer it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And the other question is, why is it always at CVS? It's the slowest process in the world. Is it
The slowest, man.
Is it the people on that side of the counter or this side of the counter? I'm
what
like,
is going
I'm watching. I'm sitting there
Thanks.
going, okay, you know how much you needed when you got up here. Well, now what is taking so long?
They're
Right.
sending you into an anxiety attack.
And we don't be
It's
in no
crazy.
hurry. We ain't in no
Yes.
hurry.
No, we ain't in no hurry.
We ain't in
We ain't
no hurry. The hell with who's behind us waiting.
Exactly.
I'm doing my business right now.
Right.
Give me 5 lottery tickets.
Right.
And don't know what they want to play on the lottery.
Wait a minute, hold
what
up.
you looking at him for?
What's
Behind
my
the
son's
counter, he
birthday?
don't know what you want to play.
What's my son's birthday again?
Right. You calling people want to know what cat play for.
What grandma birthday?
Right.
I know you know.
I got in a car accident.
hurry up.
What that license plate
What
say?
green light play for.
Idiot. Come on.
Ooh-wee.
What's the address of the bill not working at?
See what I'm saying?
Stress you out.
$32.50? Give me that straightened box.
Right. Trying
Right.
to see the person license plate number outside that's turned your way. What's that? What them numbers say?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So we all need a little motivation now and then, Brother Eddie.
Yeah.
So give us just a little Dr. Connor, a little Dr. Eddie. Give us a little motivational thing before we go.
If I had little Lawry's, I'd season it up a little bit. But I'll put it this way.
Look out now.
I'll put it this way. the other day, and I mentioned this when I was speaking at the event, I said, the other day I was looking for my glasses. They were on my face. I was looking for my phone. It was on my ear. I was looking for my watch. It was on my wrist. So
We've
often.
all been there.
We've all gone, right. In a hurry going nowhere, right?
Yep.
So many times we're looking around for what we already have. We're looking for somebody to love us when it first begins with us. We're looking for somebody to appreciate and value us. We're looking for somebody to validate who we are. We're looking for, self-esteem and this, that, and the other, when that aspect of self-esteem first starts with self. So many times we're looking around us for what we already have. Yes, we are the supermen and superwomen that we've been looking for, but oftentimes the S on our chest doesn't always mean we're strong. Sometimes it means we're sad, sensitive, and struggling. But once we really become a person who is going to look at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and take off the mask to deal with the pain that we experience, to deal with the issues. How can you address what you won't confess? How can you heal from what you won't reveal?
All right now.
So once you become real with you, that's when you're able to grow through what you go through.
Wow.
That's what it is.
You go through what you grow through. Grow through what you go through.
That's right.
You know what? That's so deep. I know some people personally. It's like they literally live in insanity, and it's like, dude, I mean, if you just take 10 seconds to assess your situation, and see, and I know people hate to hear this, but a lot of people are struggling. Not slavery is a choice, but a lot of people are struggling because it is a choice. It's a choice. It's not a choice to be a victim, but it's a choice to continue to operate as such. So you didn't choose to be victimized, but I can choose not to continue to act like a victim. And I get tired of people and these sob stories. Your life is miserable because you think miserable. You wake up miserable. You go to bed miserable, and then you want to drink it away. You want to smoke it away. You want to drown it away. Baby, you got to dig deep down and pull it up. I don't care how ugly and how much it stinks. It's stinking up the room anyway. You ain't hiding it.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, let it out.
Let it out.
Open the front door. Scream. Shave your head. Do
what you gotta do.
Cry.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, get your life together.
This girl preaching.
Dr. Eddie. Dr.
This
Eddie.
girl
I think we got
preaching
one.
today.
I think we got one right here.
The doors of the church are open. Will there be one?
I'm gonna take up the collection. Look like
Baby, pass it on. Pass it on.
Did she not?
Dr. Eddie, I think we got your opening act, brother.
Man, I'm telling you. Opening, middle, closing.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sheesh.
that was good.
That girl went in.
That was good. That's what I'm saying. Now you bring it out in this doc.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm
you
telling
know. You started it. You started it.
we're gonna be laid across these desks like just
all I need is an organ for you to tune up.
I'm trying to tell you.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
It's on the sparrow.
He's coming in a Honda. Hey.
You crazy.
Now, why is it? Does it seem like, she mentioned people in stressed out, and we hear so much about mental illness, which is a very real thing.
Yeah.
It seems like right now people seem to be dealing with so much heavy stuff, and we bombard ourselves and beat ourselves up. What is that all about right now? Because to me, it just seems, even when you watch TV, all the dramas, these people have all these issues, not just drama with each other, mental issues and personal things. And what is going on in America today?
When you mentioned the whole aspect of TV, and a lot of times I think it stands for tunnel vision. You think about TV programs. They call it TV programs for a reason, because it programs you mentally. And a lot of times is what we watch is what we become.
Mm-hmm.
What
That's
we
why I'm
see
going to
is
stop
what
watching
we
This
will
Is
be.
Us, because they all crazy.
You said, this ain't us.
This ain't us.
And, I think a lot of times what we do is we see these celebrity lifestyles. We see this false sense of reality TV. And we begin to adopt that. We strive, right?
We strive hard towards it,
We want to compete. We want to compare. We compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 30, not necessarily knowing what they did to be where they are.
Right.
So true.
And not knowing even how they may have sacrificed their whole life to just do it. or lowered themselves to be in that specific aspect. And so as a result, we feel like a second-class citizen in a first-class society. Or the whole aspects of racism and negativity, and that begins to beat us down.
Yeah.
And so we live our lives stinking thinking. And it clouds our mentality because we lose sight of the sense of who we are based upon, I don't look like her. I don't look like him. I don't have this type of money. I don't have that. But when you focus on what you don't have, you never will have.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. When you focus on when you stop focusing on your focus, you crash into your past.
It's uncomfortable to try to walk in somebody else's shoes anyway. And
Absolutely.
that could be the reason why people are in the mood and the stages that they are in, because they are in discomfort from trying to walk in other people's shoes. It's like, do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are. You know, to his point, like people don't even know who they genuinely are at the core no more, because you just
trying
busy.
To be something we ain't.
Yeah, like we, trying to save up money to get booties, and you know what I'm saying. It's just different. I mean,
Looking
so
like
much
a
stuff.
street.
Like
That's true.
and
That's true.
you want to have this type of coat for the winter, and have this type of car, and have this and that, and you don't even have groceries in your house. So you going to bed with cramps in your stomach because you hungry as hell, because you got everybody outside your house thinking that you the shit inside, and you not, and just
Displaced value system.
Yeah, it's
for
crazy.
sure.
Yeah.
Displaced value system. You got Gucci, but you ain't got groceries.
Exactly, none.
Yeah. What's up with
Not
that?
even a can of spam.
I
right?
think it's
like,
a couple
nothing.
of levels to it, though. Like, I think it's a bad energy over this country.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has, I'm sorry to take it to comb over,
Go
but
ahead.
it is what it
Do your
is.
thing.
He has highlighted that. And we are all, I don't care what anybody says or what your religion is or what your beliefs are, we are all spiritual beings, okay?
sure.
And
Absolutely.
this that you see is a vehicle that we carry. But this vehicle, which is flesh and blood, is hiding that spirit. And the thing about it is it's affected. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
is.
lot of confusion going on,
That's
and
right.
people
That's
wonder
right.
why they confused. It's the energy on top of people trying to, we all got a lane. If you on a freeway, it's different lanes. You try to veer in somebody's lane, you going to get in an accident. So stay in your lane, look ahead, and drive your vehicle, and you won't crash. We have to unprogram. We have a sickness in us, and that's just what it is. It's kind of back to what I was saying earlier. It's a lot of stinking, like you said, thinking. It's a lot of sick spirits. It's a lot of broken people. We have to address it. Until we get rid of this hate in this country, it's going to be like this. It's going to be confusion. And that's what we're operating in insanity. And I believe Trump is bringing it to the head, and I believe it's going to be change, and change is coming. It is coming.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a pimple that's about to bust.
Yes, we are living in
gotta
a
come-
pressure
it's
cooker
pressure.
of energy.
Yes,
period.
yes.
And the teapot is on the stove, and it's screaming.
And nobody hears it. And nobody hears it.
What was that
What's
noise
that
again?
noise? What is
What
that?
was that?
What is that?
Like a what?
I mean, is that Little
That
Richard?
hole in the head thing.
It sounds like Little Richard to me.
Who gonna get the teapot? Who gonna get it?
Claude, get the teapot. It's burning up.
It's burning
It's
up.
burning up.
Oh God!
Wow.
What
What
in
an
the
analogy.
world?
We got deep up in here tonight, baby. We got deep in here tonight.
He started it.
Wow.
But you're right. We're in a situation now. There's a lot of pressure in this country, and something's going to have to give somewhere along the
Yeah,
way. Just hope
yeah.
it's not too bad. That's not too crazy, because it could get really ugly if things get out of hand. Everybody's divided, separated, and angry.
Yeah,
A lot of anger.
Yeah, a lot of anger.
White
But you know
privilege is
what?
starting to crumble, so you'll see.
And
Go
they
ahead.
really frustrated. They
You
don't know
can't.
what.
A person cannot fight themselves, And I just think that more than anything, and I don't disagree with none of the reasoning behind what's going on. I just feel like at the end of the day, we as a people need to just be accountable and start with ourselves with projecting a positive path forward, because we could wait on the next person all day, and if they never come, then you just sitting here, getting bed sores, just sitting here thumb wrestling, waiting, for no reason, when you could just be moving forward in a positive manner. And people will come. Just like people come when you being negative, eventually people will come when they see that this is the only way that you are is moving forward. Like, I don't have time. So they'll adapt and they'll become, they'll just adapt to what you do, to
either
what's
that
going
or get
on.
out the way.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's weed them out and do what you got to do. Like, just continue to move forward as individuals. And I think that we as individuals don't sit back and just look at that and take accountability of just, what can I do? How can I be, a positive influence and just make this be better, make the situation better? Because eventually, the devil got to go ahead and find something else to do if he ain't pissing you off. So, that's just what my grandma said,
Go ahead, tell Lucifer to get on head on.
He just, he got to go find something to do. Go be musty somewhere else because you don't even stink to me no more.
Resist the devil, he'll flee, huh?
Exactly.
Well, this turned into quite the conversation.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's because he came here with that sharp suit on.
You better watch talking to me like that, girl.
Oh my God.
Brother Eddie came in and lit us up and got the girls fired up this evening. That's a beautiful thing, man. I want to thank you, man, for coming through. And tell us now, you said the book is called Woman.
The book is called Woman. I like to say the revolution not only be televised, it'll be digitized. Go to my website, eddieconnor.com. Put some respect on my name, y'all. EDDIECONNOR.com. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Audible. It's available as an ebook as well, audio book, physical copy, of course. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Eddie Connor Jr.
JR.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie Connor.
It's an honor.
Eddie Connor.
It's an honor.
Yeah, it is.
Did you now on the audio book? Did you read it?
It's
yourself?
me. It's me. Yours
Gotta
truly.
be. It's got that voice.
That's what's up,
I
right?
gotta-
Why would you not?
Awesome.
I gotta give it to him. Yeah,
Why would you
yeah.
not? Yeah.
I want to
It's
read it.
soothing.
My words out. Yes. You know what? Some lady.
Your voice sound like brown liquor.
Oh.
Like it was,
Claude.
brown liquor.
Oh, your voice is like brown.
Wow.
liquor, Claude.
Well, I am intoxicated with the exuberance of my intellectual verbosity. So.
It's brown too. It's brown.
Yeah, them $20 words.
Oh,
I am brown, so
see what I'm saying?
brown won't let you down.
Little melanin drink.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
This is
Okay.
more than I bargained for, Billy T.
You got that right. Me too.
Man, I didn't know what I was walking into.
I didn't know we had
Rocky and FeFe, ooh wee.
Welcome.
Rocky and FeFe, ooh wee.
And they also have a video channel, a video show, Rocky.
yes. You can follow us on Miss FeFe, the Plug Comedian, on Facebook. All our skits are on my page, Rocky Road Productions, LLC, IGTV, if you're on Instagram. And we're doing our thing, man. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram.
I'm still trying to find
And
out
YouTube.
if Kermit answered the
YouTube.
phone. Did
And
Kermit
YouTube.
answer the phone? Did Kermit get you out of jail? They got a series going. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta
Really,
watch it.
really, I gotta watch
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
I got the card, so access granted.
Yep. Like I
Right.
said, all the videos are, if you like Facebook, go to Miss FeFe, the Plug Comedian. All the videos are right there. Now, if you're more of an Instagram, then you would go to Rocky Road Productions, and it's on IGTV. But if you don't have that, it's easier Facebook.
Yeah,
All
or
right.
YouTube. You could just
Or
YouTube
YouTube.
it. Yeah, we got a
YouTube.
YouTube channel.
I see it
It's
too,
Miss
yeah.
FeFe the Plug. on
This was
YouTube.
fun. This was fun. Dr. Eddie Connor, thank you again for hanging out with us.
Appreciate it.
FeFe the Plug, thank you for hanging out
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me.
Show 94, I-94, right?
Show 90. They were shooting on 994 today. This
Really?
morning. Did you hear
Really?
about that?
What?
Road rage. People are angry. They start
Lord,
shooting
you
at
see
each
what
other.
I'm saying?
It's crazy. But this is only show number 94. No shots fired.
Right.
No shots fired. Listen, I'm going to leave you with your brother, Elijah Connor.
Look at that.
And this is featuring T Grizzly. This is called Meal Ticket.
It is.
And, the boy doing some things, man. We got big hopes for him, right?
Absolutely.
He going places.
He about to break loose.
Yeah. So there you go. So once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's BillyTDetroit Radio, and we out.
50,000 on the ring, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million pin. Do 100 on the freeway. Hey, this is Ferrari, please don't dim. Donald Trump is on my wrist, yeah. It's the rolling president. Just bought a Cadillac, Ralph Simmons knapsack, stupid ass on it. She ain't gotta worry, get it clean, get it dirty. I've been working for a minute, trying to put 100 on her wrist. Just for the night, I'ma get you excited. Do you know how to ride it? Let me see, let me see.
young niggas' funds. My uncle shot at the police. They gave the wrong young niggas guns. Ay, I got that check and took off. They gave the right nigga a chance. Bought every house in my ghetto. Split up that work with my mans. Ay, I don't take lightly the threats. My niggas gon' shoot at his head. Them bullets the size of my dreads. So if he survive, he the man. Ay, you get that lean by the pint. We got this shit by the keg. My doctor gon' risk his career. Cause he write the script for my meds. Ay, big 100K on my neck. Got it after the rap. Could've got it before rap. But the feds was watching my snaps. Cut them off if you watching your pockets. Reward on me watching your back. That pipe ain't no good on my hip. So it's next to your bitch on my lap.
Got Versace on the hip, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million bitch. 250,000 on the ring, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million pin. 200 on the freeway. Hey, this is Ferrari, please don't dip. Donald Trump is on my wrist, yeah. It's a rolling president. South Beach, where the bad bitch got cheddar. Young nigga with some money in Jamaica hitting Stella. White suit, made gala, can't nobody do it better. And I feel like Michael Jackson. Walking backwards in my jelly, like the sidewalk. I see you sitting on that bitch, fuck the side talk. I feel like money making it. I'm on the grind, boy. I'm trying to hit a meal ticket. It's my time, boy. It's about time, boy. Got Versace on the hip, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million bitch. 250,000 on the ring, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million pin. 200 on the freeway. Hey, this is Ferrari, please don't dip. Donald Trump is on my wrist, yeah. It's the rolling president. That's what I'm on right now. 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 Got Versace on the hip, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million bitch. 250,000 on the ring, yeah. Hey, that's $1 million pin. 200 on the freeway. Hey, this is Ferrari, please don't dip. Donald Trump is on my wrist, yeah. It's the rolling president.
BillyTDetroit Radio. The show's so dope, you might kill some brain cells.
I burned too many brain cells down to be worried about my brain cells now. I burned too many brain cells down to be worried about a brain cell now. I burned too many brain cells down.